Can I ask you about the concept of tactical voting, right? Now, this is where essentially people who want to somehow stop someone like yourself in a first past the post, right? So a bunch of, say, Conservatives who know they've got no chance go and vote for a Lib Dem or go and vote for the Labor Party, or as you say now, you've got people like the Greens. Now, this has been used successfully sometimes and many times not. What's your sense about, as we get closer over the next couple of years, that this concept of here's how to stop Nigel becomes the discussion around the democracy?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the Greens and the Liberals and the Liberal Democrats and Labour, there'll be those conversations going on in individual constituencies. And it might hurt us here and there. But overall, think about all these people on the left is they argue with each other constantly. They're always falling out. They're always having rows. So to get them to be organised across 600 constituencies, the length and breadth of the UK, will it be a factor? Yes. Will it be a decisive factor? I very much doubt it, because the individual party leaders will still want their own piece of the pie. So, yeah, we've got to look for it, but I really don't think they've got the ability to organise this nationwide.
I cannot believe that the system in the UK has become so broken here that a migrant sex offender has been arrested almost very quickly after being released from prison, and the victim, a little girl.
Yes, he was released by accident. On the same day, we learnt that another young man who'd come by boat had stabbed to death a hotel worker in the hotel he was staying in. He'd stabbed her 23 times with a screwdriver and killed her. And every single week now, we get these accounts of young men of fighting age crossing the English Channel, causing huge degrees of harm in our community. And if you haven't looked, have a look at Ireland. Have a look at what happened in the Republic of Ireland last week with major scale riots. And that was following the sexual assault on a 10-year-old girl. And the problem is that a lot of these men come from countries in which women are not even second-class citizens. And that's the clash of cultures. That's the clash of values. And it's that, I think, that is saying, particularly to women, mums, grandmums, women themselves in fear of walking down the street, that something has got to change. Otherwise, frankly, our communities will simply break apart. So it is this issue of sexual crime, above all, that I think is fundamentally realigning British politics. And it was very interesting. There was a march in East London on Saturday, all men, all dressed in black, most with face masks, and they were protesting about an anti-Islamic extremist demo that in fact was banned. And as they marched, this army of young Muslim men in East London, as they marched past the left holding up their sort of Queers for Palestine banners, one says to the marchers, "We're on the same side," to which he replies, "No, we're not, mate." And I hope the left finally wake up that actually there is something even more dangerous than identity politics that is going on, and that is the turning of a collective blind eye to Islamic extremism and Jew hatred openly on the streets of this once great nation.
And again, the impunity with which, even a masked person, but still, the impunity with which that they feel they can take to the streets because regardless of who collectively is the culture, was the culture, will be the culture, no, they consider themselves to be the future, and at some point in time they'll be able to take off the mask because that is the future. That is frightening that they, for want of a better term, that they've got the balls to be this public about it.
Well, I have to say, I thought the scenes that I witnessed, I wasn't there, thank goodness, but the scenes that I witnessed from East London last weekend were simply the most frightening things that I've ever seen. And have a look at my YouTube channel. It's all up there. Please, Paul, take the clips, show them to your audience. This is why we have to be very, very careful about who we, both in this and your country, about who we let in.
Now, the asylum hotel situation is one, again, that people in Australia go, hang on, the UK, this big striving country has got such a problem with the number of people getting inside a leaky boat and trying to make their way across, among other things, the English Channel, that we can't put them somewhere else. So we end up putting them in hotels. We end up booking the joint out. Well, now a report is suggesting that this practice, unsurprisingly, is costing billions of dollars.
Who knew? What a shock. Gosh, isn't this amazing? It's costing us a fortune. Who knew? I was the first person in 2020. I went to the first migrant hotel where these young men were being put up, and I videoed it and I showed it across British media, and nobody could quite believe it. What, you mean people crossing the channel get put in 4-star hotels, get 3 meals a day, free dental care, free medical care, and pocket money as well, and in their spare time can work in the black market? I mean, it's been going on for 5 years. And yes, this report's come out today saying it's costing a fortune, but it's going to cost even more because they're now tendering. The British government is now tendering for contracts to look after illegals up until 2036.
Blimey.
Which tells you all you need to know. They have no genuine intent on stopping it. Well, I do. And rather like Tony Abbott, and whether you love him or hate him, Tony, as Australian Prime Minister in 2012, did stop the boats, and we will stop the boats. And if people believe that, it'll probably win us the next general election.
Correct. One of the great advantages that we have been given by the tectonic plates moving as they have over the millions of years of which they have, we are islands. And if we are islands, we have the capacity to use that giant moat to say no.
Yeah, I mean, your moat obviously is slightly wider than ours. I mean, ours is more like a sort of anti-tank ditch, really.
I didn't want to say
thank goodness it is, you know, because it stopped them 85 years ago, didn't it? So thank goodness for that, and a few brave Spitfire and Hurricane pilots. I mean, not only are we an island, but we're Brexit Britain.
Yeah.
And Brexit Britain was about taking back control of our borders, and that explains to you why a Conservative Party that won a thumping majority under Boris in 2019 is now literally nowhere, because that is viewed by Brexit voters as an absolute act of betrayal. And you know what? It is.
Yeah, bloody oath. Thank you, Nigel.